Hello and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4. I am Lord Forwind, here playing as the government in exile of the Netherlands. So, first off, let's point out the fact that apparently the Americans are trying to reinvade Spain, which was a disaster last time, and it's cost them a lot of troops. We are still fighting in Africa, trying to push back the Italians, and Dutch East Indies crown colony thing is getting pretty much overrun by the Japanese completely. So that's bad news on that front. Hopefully at some point our allies will do something to help, but in the meantime we simply have to sit and wait and watch on that front. The war in China has gone against the Chinese, but the Japanese are eventually going to lose their bonus that helps them against China, and then China can push back. Unfortunately, China is significantly outgunned, but the British Raj troops have now entered the battlefield, and that should hopefully hold back the Japanese tide. On the other hand, the Soviets are now seriously starting to lose ground, which is worrisome. Ugh, that's not good. 31% towards it. China has actually regained some since last time. Even with our attaché trying to help boost the Soviets' troops, they still cannot match the Germans. Still cannot hope to stop them. They still have twice the manpower in reserve that the Germans have, but unfortunately they have to take out the German forces. Luckily, if the Germans have to reform again away from all adults must serve to a higher one, like scraping the barrel, true, they get tons of manpower, but their output of all their factories just becomes terrible. So we can hope that will come sooner rather than later. In the meantime, we're actually managing to rebuild our forces to some degree. Still nowhere near the army we lost at the beginning of the war, but 50,000 almost, it's not bad. More importantly, troops will now be landing through here. I'm just amazed the Germans and Spanish are holding out down here. Americans' invasion of Spain failed, as expected. And now there's a fight going still over that region. So, on other news, I'm just building new fleet stuff because I have nothing else really to do. Might as well get some submarine stuff, I guess, going. Plus, let's see if I can actually switch out my destroyer. Oh, they've already automatically upgraded to the new destroyer hull. Huh. Well, that's convenient. I don't actually have to do anything, automatically upgraded to it. Why is this one so much more expensive? Makes sense that this is the one we'd want to use then. Yeah. Okay. We have a problem, of course. We still don't have any iron, but so much I can do about that lack of iron. Hey, look at here. There's been quite a push back. More British troops have arrived. The Australians, yeah, they're helping. Oh, looks like Japan has fallen back some too. It's nice to see. The addition of the British troops seems to be turning the tide. Plus now apparently we can actually see the Japanese troops. Wonder if that means we can see the... Nope, still can't see the Italians. And most definitely cannot see the Germans. Okay. This is a problem though, the Germans are just pushing through. The Soviets are not getting enough time to rebuild their troops and reorganize their army. They're just in all-out retreat. If the Soviets fall, I don't know how we win this war. Also, for some reason, Iceland is on the Axis side. I don't know if that was in my video or that was the part we lost. But yeah, the Iceland apparently decided to join the Nazis' army side. Oh, this is going so bad up here. I wish I could send some of my arms to them, but it doesn't really work. Oh, what's this? Oh, they might just shift to puppet. Oh, that would be annoying, but there's nothing I can do. There's quite literally nothing I can do to stop that. Especially since they've almost been wiped out by the Japanese. Although I will hold a military parade in the Dutch East Indies, try and swing them a bit more towards the non-aligned faction of us that we are part of. There's so many different divisions fighting under the Germans' command in Russia. Look at this, they don't even have any defenders, and my allies can't take that province. Stupid. Uh-oh, that's not good. One of my divisions I got from the British has been cut off. Oh no, that's gonna be stopped there. I guess I'll try and march out. Oops, how did the British get a division there? Paratrooping, maybe? That's not good. Yeah, we're gonna lose that battle very quickly. It's Germans, I believe, attacking us. Yep. 400 attack power. Still, I have no idea how they get that much attack power, but they do. Luckily, that was a British division. It sounds so cruel. Oh, it was only a British division that we lost there. Who cares? Well, reality is, it doesn't hurt my total amount of troops at all, so I'm fine with it. Hey, they finally took out that one Vichy France stronghold down there. Good for them. It's all construction engineering from everybody now, pretty much. The British, Germans, and I seem to be the only ones still researching things. Oh yeah, I like the fact that because I have synthetic refineries, just by researching these techs, I'm starting to get some oil. Which is nice, but not something we really need right now. Nice, better tanks whenever we get around to researching tank stuff. Might as well do lessons from the last war, even though we're not going to. We already finished our land doctrine. Let's see, this guy's still level 4. This level 5. This guy's a jungle rat though, which is kind of cool. And I think this guy's he's doing pretty good fighting out there. Jungle rat. They're both going to become jungle rats because a lot of this we've been fighting through has been jungle. Plus we were fighting in Venezuela, so jungle. How do they keep pulling this off? Just when I think my allies have actually stopped this push, they get outflanked. This is good though. They kicked nationalist Spain out of that region. Don't know why they still haven't bothered to attack Iceland, but they haven't. What do we have here? 2 to 2.5 million troops versus 2 to 2.3 million troops. Not good. Oh, they went to total mobilization, that's why. They lost manpower deliberately. I guess that's fine. When you got millions of manpower, you can afford to lose some. It looks like the war up here is going pretty good, actually. You know what? I'm going to actually send... Yeah, I'll do it. I'm not getting enough experience to learn stuff anyway. We're going to send an attaché to China. Just to help them somewhat with their organization and planning speed. Anything to keep China functioning properly, I guess, at this point. So the thing is once Japan falls or gets kicked out of the war, then the focus can really swing to Europe. Normally, historically, it was the other way around, but this time it seems to be going this way. Yeah, let's build a nuclear reactor. Why not? Let's try and figure out what a nuclear reactor is used for. There's only one thing you use a nuclear reactor for at this point in history, and it's not really power. I'm amazed the British are not doing anything about East Java falling. Okay. Iceland's gone, that's good to see. We're really putting the push on Italy now. Italy still technically has a lot of manpower they could rebuild, too. Part of the thing is I want to get to up here where we can confine them in a much smaller place rather than try and fight them on a large front operation, which never goes well. We're not actually building any more ships anymore, but still kind of interesting to upgrade my fleet designs. Come on, Dutch East Indies. Okay, here we go. The British have actually moved some troops in these areas. We'll try using Bernhardt to gather intelligence. I don't think it is going to go well, though. At least the British have deployed some troops in this area. I really don't want that. I prefer strike force, to be honest. I probably should have put mine laying at some point. Problem is, there's not a lot of naval battles going on here. 2 divisions the British are going to give me. Where are they, though? Okay, there we go. They are up in England. Okay. Well, we will try and send them all the way down to Africa. So the problem is I've got some of these divisions which are fully trained but has no fighting power because lack of manpower. The fact that a capitulated nation only gets like 8 a day becomes really useless. 8 a day isn't 8 a week or something. No, 8. It's still pretty useless. I mean, I suppose it's accurate, but it's still kind of stupid. About a year here until the Japanese start to suffer some penalties. Leningrad has fallen. Not good. Not good at all. I suspect at this point more casualties are coming to the Germans from terrain than anything else. Because the Soviets sure ain't doing it. Yeah, the Soviets are probably going to lose. It's going to suck. Once the Soviets are gone, I don't know what we're going to do. At least Italy is being driven back. We've actually, our divisions have killed 82,000 Italians and only lost 33,000 versus them. So, at least versus the Italians, our troops are good enough. I mean, that's not much saying much because the Italians are significantly weaker than the Germans, but seems weird these guys getting all this free land from the invasion, but that's the way it goes. The only thing we can hope is as the war front expands, the Soviets can hold better. Although I have my doubts. Whoops. Japanese have landed in the Philippines. Oops. This is where, if you guys had been defending the Indies, my troops would be helping. Alas. I think we'll just zoom back for a while and keep an eye on how the battle goes. There's not much I can do to influence it, so. We will, however, try and get more men. For some reason, my allies seem very incompetent about holding on to this Somaliland area. They keep seeming to lose land there. I'm going to advance a little bit, I think. There's only like 5 or 6 divisions opposing us in Ethiopia, but we still are struggling to drive them back. Oh, and the Spanish have retaken this area. In some ways the attrition is just too high. really wish I could supply the Soviets with guns and stuff, but there's not much I can do. Ironically, they're probably the only person who has enough troops to defend this line. China's troops are still terrible. I'm always amazed at how few troops China really has going on the field. This is good though. The British and China have cut off Japan from their allies in the north. Of course, Japan will probably reconnect that eventually, but it's a start. Beijing has been recaptured, which is pretty good news, honestly. We're still just building infrastructure. What the heck, we'll do some more production stuff. We don't have got much else to do. Oh, the British Raj is not giving us any steel, so we'll cancel that. Instead, up the Americans' delivery of steel, because we know they can supply. We've almost actually handled a good portion of our steel needs, which is nice. It might mean we're actually producing some of these cannons and stuff now. Nope. We're losing military factories, honestly, because of our the fall of Java and Sumatra. How are you losing versus the Japanese, who have no organization? I don't understand this, how they're losing. I really don't. When this penalty disappears, I think you will see Japan fall quickly. Looks like the British are moving troops through the Soviet Union to go help attack Japan. Really wish you'd send them to help the Soviet Union, but I don't know. So this is a problem. I don't know why they're not advancing. There's no troops in these territories opposing us. They should advance. I guess maybe they're trying to strategically deploy around it, but we need to take land, honestly. Hey, I've managed to get to 2% of the war effort, though. That might mean I'll get 1 German territory at the end of the war. This is interesting. The Americans have done another landing in Spain, as have the British. They've retaken Gibraltar. I'm always surprised that Gibraltar doesn't have like a level 1 fort in it to land, because it was also hard to take land-wise too. Anti-tank guns for the continent. I know I don't actually have any submarine production really going, but that's about the best I can do. Here come the Germans, though. Organization is too low to advance. Yep, how typical. I mean, this is a potentially point they can defend, but I don't know how they're going to do. The Germans are still too strong. But it might give the Soviets a bit of a respite, though. We can hope. Nope, don't attack that point when you're not that upgraded. We are just slowly bleeding what little manpower we have, but we've got to do something. Stuff like this that's only lasts a year, I wish it would have a little icon telling you, hey, this is going to expire on this date. Be much more useful. However, we are going to start seeing China shift towards democracy, which should be interesting. I don't really know what the other Chinese miners are doing. I think they're all just training army troops at this point. Communist China is just building up their army, I guess. That's about all they can do. This is totally locked off to Communist China. It's kind of a great question why Communist China has even access to that. Don't know what we should spend this money on. I wish I could relocate my troops to Batavia, but I can't. How are you losing? First off, how can Japan get troops here when you control the oceans? I don't know, but the British are not doing a very good job stopping the Japanese landings. The Philippines are barely holding on. It's honestly kind of sad. And the British and the Americans have been driven into Gibraltar, where 42 divisions are probably going to be wiped out by the Germans. Why? Why, AI? If you sent us to Africa, we'd overrun Africa in a matter of months. But instead they're going to lose them in Gibraltar, probably. Well, slow progress is being made versus the Italians. This division is marching across Africa rather than sailing. I have no idea what's going on in Liberia. Oh, the Italians are trying to land there. Oh, Pearl Harbor has fallen. Oh, the Americans are losing versus the Japanese in the Pacific. That's unusual. And also very concerning. Oh well. It's really outside of my hands. I can't do anything because of how badly I messed up at the beginning. All I have is ridiculous levels of entrenchment. Manila. So the Philippines have just fallen. Or are going to fall. Maybe. Probably. Why the Philippines are suffering like 40% attrition in their own land seems a bit ridiculous. I can't help my East Indies, even if I wanted to. As soon as I move my troops out of Ethiopia, they're going to get overrun. That's the problem. As it is, this army's dead. And we just don't have troops capable of winning wars. Oh, frustrating. Oh, very frustrating. Instead, I'm gonna order them to try and run to a port, because that's about all I can do. Get to there, maybe you'll get some supplies. How are the generals doing? They virtually gain no experience. I suppose because I don't. First off, I don't have a lot of troops fighting, and second off, where I fight, I'm not doing well. But you'd think, yeah, we're only winning 30%, 36% of our combat. Our Marines are the only thing that's winning. So little we can actually do. France, the Soviets are going to try and influence England and France. They don't have anything more to help their defense, so it's just a matter of fighting now. Germans still have 2 to 3 million manpower, and the Soviets are almost out. That's a problem. Soviets have lost their territories with their manpower. That's why they're suffering so badly, it seems. Looks like that division might survive for a little while. Free France is still truly struggling to hold on to even their lands there. Okay, well, I think we'll stop here. And next time, it will slowly tick onwards as Japan apparently dominates the Pacific because the Allies seem to have decided the Pacific isn't really worth defending. Also, yep, that 48 divisions or so that were in Gibraltar just got killed. At this rate, the Germans deserve to win the war because of how badly the Allies are deploying their troops. Anyhow, war rages on, and we'll see what happens next time. Bye for now.